This video is sponsored by PokemonStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. This video is also sponsored by CARDMARKET.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by PLAYMAT.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. Sup YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG uploads, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Today we're going to be taking a look at some Temporal Forces deck list. Of course, EOIC will be on the beginning of April, and on the 22nd of March we're getting Temporal Forces with lots of crazy cool Ace Spec cards. So also the rotation will happen for EOIC, so these are going to be some inside deck lists, so you can guys get started already with your testing, and just note them down. As you all know, I have a lot of rotation videos already, so if you want to know which cards rotate and all that, there are links down below in the description. But with that being said, we're gonna be going over some cool deck lists, with the first one up on the list being Chien-Pao. So if you're enjoying the content, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and without further ado, let's just get it started. So we see here Chien-Pao assumingly is back with the rotation. Battle VIP Pass has rotated, but we are getting Buddy Puffin. I think it's called that. It's the card on the right top corner, which is able to get out 270 HP Pokemon from the deck and put them onto the bench. So very similar to Battle VIP Pass, and with that you're going to be able to fetch Frigibags, you're going to be able to fetch out Bidoof, which is very great, and it also is not restricted to the first turn, so you can also use these on the second, third, late game of the in the late game as well, so that's super cool. We have 4 Nazball, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Buddy Puffins, Rare Candy, Superior Energy Retrieval, Super Rod, 1 Vessel, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, Pokegear. So the deck list is very interesting, because now it also comes back with that new supporter card, that is the supporter next to Irida, which we're also going to be getting. It is a future supporter, and it is very similar to Mallow and Lana, allowing you to actually get 2 cards from the deck and put them on top of the deck. So that's actually pretty good, because Radiant Greninja can instantly draw them out, and that's going to be the addition to, of course, Irida. So 4 Irida and 4 of the new supporter. I don't even know what it's called, but you'll have to figure it out when the set drops. But this is a very great list to get yourself started. Prime Catcher also is an Ace Spec card, searchable through the means of Irida, or also you can put it on the top of the deck and draw it out with Greninja because of that new supporter. And also I think that new supporter works miracles with B-Barrel as well. So you can play that supporter and draw them out if, let's say, you're not able to get Greninja out, and if you have B-Barrel, it's also going to work that way. And without Path to the Peak in the format, Greninja is on a crazy how do we say that? Without Path to the Peak, Greninja always draws cards, and this deck has 10 energies to go for it, so no Iron Hands in this list, but I think this is something I'll be working on. Also the Crown Zenith Kyogre is also super interesting, because that is going to be allowing you to snap 180, and that's going to be great to eat up Squack abilities and Luminions when Manaphy is not around. With that being said, the next list up on the menu is Charizard, also going to be a tier 1 deck going forwards after rotation. We see here that the Pidgeot is still in here, but we do see also the new Gouging Fire, if it's called like that, is like the fiery Entei ancient Pokemon that is going to be allowing you to stop 260 damage for 3 energies. You're easily able to power that one up through the means of the Charizard as well, and it's actually going to be one of the Pokemon slapping 260 out of the get-go helps out a ton. We've seen before that people were taking out Victini EX in the Charizard deck just because, let's say you go first, your max damage output is 180. Well, that's no longer true. You can slap 260 if you're able to power up an Entei. That means you can donk or actually KO Pokemon that have 220 and more HP. So that new Entei kind of ancient Pokemon I think it's Gouging Fire, could be wrong though, but it's an interesting card for sure. I don't know the names quite yet. These are all Japanese deck lists, so we're taking a look at them right now. Buddy Puffing works miracles as well for Charizard, let's be honest. And this actually is using the maximum belt, allowing you to slap 50 more damage to EX Pokemon. So that's going to be a very nice way for Charizard to hit the numbers when it previously was not able to do that. So there are going to be Ace Spec cards coming in Temporal Forces, and I personally am a big fan of the Prime Catcher, but this could also work for more damage output. As we've seen before, Arven's still around, Iono's still around. This deck doesn't lose all that much, so it's also still going to be strong after rotation. Then, Roaring Moon. Of course, I'm a big Roaring Moon fan. This is going to be a Japanese deck list requiring actually, it gets the new Baby Roaring Moon, slapping 70 damage plus 10 more for every Ancient card in your discard pile. Ancient Energy Boost Capsule is an Ancient card. Sada is an Ancient card. Brood Bonnet is an Ancient card. Earthen Vessel is an Ancient card. So this one prizer in the mid to late game can actually slap huge amounts of damage. So no longer people are requiring Morpeko as the one prize Pokemon in this list. And we see that most of the cards are still around. We no longer have VIP Pass, but instead they opted to go for 4 copies of Nazball, which is something I also would have included. You might think, why is the Temple of Sinnoh in here? Well, that's because of the new special energy that's going to be preventing Frenzied Gouging. And that might actually see some play in like Lost Zone Giratina decks or maybe even Arceus decks in general. So that new special energy as a colorless energy might cause some headaches for Frenzied Gouging. So that's why the Temple of Sinnoh is in here. And of course, Darkrai VSTAR can get some cards back from the discard pile with its VSTAR ability. Then we have another Charizard build. This time around, it's a B-Barrel kind of version of the deck instead of relying on Pidgeot. I think Pidgeot is the way to go. With path rotating, Pidgeot is going to be way stronger than this kind of a version, but this version is running the Entei, of course, for an additional 4 Seal Zone target, and of course, with the high amount of Arven, you're going to be able to get into the game. As mentioned, I'm a bigger fan of course, the Pigeon Charizard. So that was the top 4 of a tournament. We could go into like top 8s as well, I suppose. So this is the Baby Roaring Moon deck. I don't know if you've heard about Baby Roaring Moon deck. It's a new one prize deck. You see the Dunsparce allowing you to have some additional draw power. You're drawing 3 cards when you evolve into it, and then it flies back into the deck. And that's going to be your draw engine. I think inherently B-Barrel is better, but since this deck keeps on drawing cards, you have Ninja, you have Sada, you want to just stack up on all the possible puzzle pieces. Also, there's that new supporter. I think it's called the one where you're able to look at the top 6 cards of your deck, get 2 and discard the rest. I think that's the one. It's also an Ancient card, so you want to have as many Ancient cards in your discard pile because, of course, the Baby Roaring Moon slapping more damage for every Ancient card in your discard pile. But do we also see Fluttermane? Fluttermane shuts down the opponent's active's ability. So if you have Fluttermane the active Pokemon can no longer use their ability. I'm gonna give a little example. Let's say you gust up a Gardevoir EX. They're not able to get out of the active because they're not able to use their Gardevoir EX ability. Very funky, I know, but Fluttermane might have its uses here and there when you drag something in the active and shut down that ability. I think that's the thing that Fluttermane does. I'm just gonna recheck real quick. Fluttermane TCG, because I really want to be sure that that is the ability that the card does. It's from Temporal Forces here, this Fluttermane card, and as I see here, yeah, as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities except for Midnight Fluttering. Okay, so it's like a little bit of a Klefki situation, but this actually is also an Ancient card. Interesting. There is Donphan, a new mill deck from the block here. The cool thing is that there's actually mills cards. If you played Professor Sada's, or actually if you played an Ancient Supporter, I think that's the card here, where you're able to, like, if you played an Ancient Supporter during your turn, you're able to like discard 4 cards from the opponent's top deck. So you're gonna be milling, and there's also a Hand Trimmer to trim the opponent's huge hand. So an insane new looking mill card, and also with the 100 additional HP with that Ace Spec card, you're going to be seeing lots of this card. You can also trap Pokemon with Counter Catcher. Mill is back, discarding 4 cards. That's crazy. We'll see what happens. Also with the Stadium, the opponent's Pokemon will have an additional retreat cost, so I'm actually interested to see how far this will land. Wallstone Giratina is good. Why is Relicanth in here? Relicanth is a new Pokemon allowing you to use the pre-evolution attacks. That means that Giratina VSTAR can use Shred. That's pretty much its only use in here. And with the help of the maximum belt, you're actually slapping 50 additional HP, which means Lost Impact can actually now slap 330 damage. You see where we're going with this? It's very strong indeed. Buddy Puffin helping out, and Spiritomb, I don't know why you would run Spiritomb in a Mew VMAX less meta. Mew VMAX is going to be gone, but Spiritomb might shut down stuff like Raikou as well, I suppose. There is a Lost Box with Gouging Fire and Radiant Zard. So Radiant Zard gets a little bit of a buff. We do see here that they're having this big HP Pokemon. So now you don't have to use Darkness energies and Fire energies. Now you can just go only Psychic energies and Fire energies, just like the way that Sable Zard used to work back in the day. Prime Catcher, there's also some sort of an escape board situation going that allows you to have one less retreat cost. I don't know what the immediate effect is. I think... I'm gonna have to check out here. That's like some sort of escape board. We have one less retreat cost, and that actually is very great for stuff like your Comphase. And also that TM Technical Evolution, actually Technical Machine, which allows you to slap 280 damage if the opponent is at one prize card. It's also super cool indeed. More deck lists, so some more Chien-Pao this time around with the Iron Hands. Okay, so we've seen Chien-Pao before. It can adapt with the means of Buddy Puffin. Some more Charizard, this time with Rotom, Radiant Zard in here, and Pidgeot, so more of the same. Giratina, this time around they're playing one copy of the Ditto, so it seems like Tina, Charizard, and Chien-Pao are like the biggest survivors from the rotation. Arctina is also around, so doesn't lose all that much. They do have that Iron Virizion kind of card, allowing you to absorb all the energies and fly into the active position. A very great way to, of course, deal with Charizard. And they have the Minior tech in here as well. Pretty interesting. The Pokemon League headquarters helping out a little bit as well against basic Reliant decks. And with Judge out there, I don't know how... This is like... Is this better than Path to the Peak? Like, Judge Path was Arceus' best thing, but now it uses the Pokemon League headquarters instead. We'll see if that's going to be making an impact. Some more Zard. Roaring Moon again. I think most of the Japanese players love the inclusion of Darkrai VSTAR. I'm not that high on the card. Also, this list is running Iron Hands, and we are no longer having access to the Galarian Moltres V after rotation, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky. Maybe like in this situation, there's like a couple of 4 E-switches, so these E-switches on top of Darkrai V-Star to get more E-switches can power up an Iron Hand. So I do see that working out with the means of the Darkrai V-Star, maybe post-rotation. Then we do see some more. This is a big barrel Charizard list, also playing the Hisuian Basculin to just get your setup. There is a one prize Roaring Moon, this time around playing that Koraidon as well. So with some fighting energies in here, you can even attack with the Koraidon, but it's actually slapping 30 damage for every ancient Pokemon you have in play, so that could technically reach all the way to 180 damage output. Also, these one prizers with 140 HP with the ancient energy boost capsule can get all the way to 200 HP, which is kind of ridiculous. And that Drum Ace Spec card allows you to draw a card for every ancient Pokemon you have in play. So one prize ancient deck wants to get as many ancient cards in that discard pile as possible, and then it's gonna be very, very powerful. So this is something I am keeping my eye on because I love one prize decks. Gholdengo also a huge winner from the rotation. With Path to the Peak rotating, you no longer need cards like Worker, which pretty much always is like draw tree. Now you can rely on that new supporter, putting 2 cards you want on top of the deck, drawing them out with coin bonus. You still have Palkia V-Star. You can still power up your Greninja because of the water energies in here. This list desperately does need a canceling cologne, in my opinion, because we're playing Prime Catcher, so why are you not playing that canceling cologne? Definitely put it in here if you are trying to play the one and only Gholdengo. This is very similar to the build I've used way before the rotation. I got like 300 championship points with. So we have a 1/1 B-Barrel, a 1/1 Arceus V-Star, as the way I played it, with, of course, Cologne. With, this is very similar to what I've played before. Very, very cool to see. There's a boss, there's a Prime Catcher. And this time around, because you no longer need to play Cross Switchers, because you have the Prime Catcher instead, you can now rely on that new supporter as well as an Iono. So this is something I definitely will be taking a look at, because I am loving myself a little bit of Chien-Pao. That's super cool. Okay. Then I see more of the same. This is pretty unique. This is Snorlax block deck. We know we've lost Echoing Horn, but we still have Mantine. This Mantine can also put a Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto their bench. All the rest seems pretty similar. We no longer have VIP pass, so it's gonna have to rely on just getting the Snorlaxes regularly with Nestball and stuff. So the deck is still playing 4 copies of Arven. You do have that Forest Seal Stone for the Rotom. So and you now are playing the Radiant Sword to deal with threats like Minior or with powered up Pokemon after you've discarded a lot of their resources. So yeah, it is still back. One of Lure Model is just so YOLO, I know, but without VIP Pass, maybe another way to get Pokemon into play, I suppose. So yeah, also 100 additional HP with the Ace Spec card might yeah, get some trouble going around because you still have Penny Looping available with Snorlax block. All right. More deck list being shared here. Let's see here. We have, yeah, they actually divided by like, we have seen some Arctinas, we have seen Chien-Paos. There has been, yeah, more Chien-Paos. Yeah, now we have more deck list here. This is Raging Bolt EX. It's like the long neck Raikou, allowing you to slap more damage for every basic energy you're discarding from your Pokemon in play. And that's actually adding up to a ridiculous amounts of damage. There's even the Sandy Shocks EX. If the opponent has taken like 2 prize cards, if they have 4 prize cards or fewer remaining, you can use this to absorb an energy from the discard pile, and you can do that for every Sandy Shocks out there. So you can get a lot of energies in play to one-shot with Raging Bolt. So Raging Bolt, will it be a very strong deck? Who knows? But it's actually interesting to see an early list like this. Also, note that Ancient Energy Boost Capsule puts the Raging Bolt all the way to 300 HP without weakness because it is a dragon type. Okay, Zard, and then we have an Arceus with Pidgeot. An Arc Pidgeot line. I don't see any Charon Scare in here, but there is Turo, I suppose. Turo can also just put it back in hand, but the Charon Scare is a little bit better for cardless Pokemon, so I wonder what this is. Also can get rid of like liability Pokemon, like for instance Mew EX and the Iron Leaves EX, or I don't even know if it's Iron Leaves, it's like Iron Virizion, that's what I'm calling it. Okay, moving forward. Also, I think Arceus with the maximum belts actually is working miracles, because now you're gonna be able to KO 2 prize Pokemon, 2 prize EXs, which Arceus in the past wasn't able to do. Okay, more mill with the Ancient Donphan. I don't even know what it's called. But you see here that it will have an impact, it seems. You can stall a little with Mimikyu. You can discard the opponent's deck. That's pretty much what it is. 4 cards every turn being discarded. If we're taking a look at that, that's... yeah, the opponent starts with 7 cards or 6 prize cards. You can hand trim a couple of their cards so they can like stack up. And then Iono... this is gonna be a nasty deck. I don't know if it's gonna be as popular as the way it was with Durant and the Noble Victory set. But yeah, interesting. We do see here a wacky version of Incineroar EX, which is able to immediately slap like 240 for like 1 energy. It needs 1 cardless energy less for something, but we will see how it gets. But it also can use Relicanth to use the attacks from the previous Pokemon, like the Torracats and stuff. Interesting. We'll see how it makes an impact. If you want to see how the meta is shaping up to be, we see here that Charizard is tier S. Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon, Gholdengo. Then we have like Mildeck, Arctina's around, Lost on Giratina, Lugia a little bit with maybe the Chinchino, and then a little bit of Lost Box. I wonder how this will still develop. Okay, moving forward, we see a little bit of Gholdengo Palkia. I think these, oh yeah, they're actually dividing it by that. These are actually not results, but just dividing it with the archetypes itself. Now we have some more results going around. Roaring Moon with Iron Leaves. I think it's Iron Leaves. Let's just call it like that for now. In here. For Sadas, get the grass energies in play. Then we can switch around with switch card and then attack with Iron Leaves. That's actually not bad. I see this as a great way to deal with Charizard. So that's a great stack for sure. If Charizard is tier S, this grass type attacker, which can easily get powered up in 1 turn because of Sada attachment switch card, is definitely going to be a great addition for this deck. I'm glad we're seeing innovation like this, because Charizard seems to be the big winner after the rotation, keeping most of its cards. Some more Gholdengo with a 2-2 Palkia. Random Silene in here, don't know how good that is. And they are incorporating the Canceling Cologne, which I think is very good. This is the Lugia list. Lugia believers out there, you can fly high again because, yeah, the cardless Lugia has, of course, this energy card which prevents Frenzied Gouging, which prevents Star Requiem, which is very good. So Lugia, assumingly, is back. I also have this 1 price Chinchino slapping 70 damage for every special energy you have in play. So there's a lot of things that could happen here. And also with the maximum belt here, 50 additional damage output, Lugia can make wonders happen. So we'll have to figure out, like Lugia can now use the attack again that it wants, like Tempest Dive, but for more damage output, which is going to be very, very good indeed. Okay. But they are still putting it in the lower tier, so there's that. There is some sort of a wacky Miraidon, Regieleki VMAX. Regieleki VMAX and Kyurem VMAX are one of the few remaining VMAXs in the format. All the rest has rotated. One prize, Thunderous, slapping 140 damage, and they are playing Radiant Greninja, so they want to draw a lot of cards here, finding those electric powers and go crazy. Also, with the maximum belt, seems to be like a very popular choice here. I think slapping more damage definitely helps out. Let's say Raikou being able to slap like 270, that's kind of broken indeed. But also, maximum belt onto something like a Regieleki V and then going for that lightning wall might also be very impressive. So we'll see how that works out. Also, now that I think about it, I didn't even talk about it. Regieleki V Max, 30 additional damage for your lightning Pokemon if you get a couple of these out in combination with maximum belt. Yeah, stuff like the Miraidon can one-shot. Ooh, this is going to be pretty tricky indeed. There is another Sablezard here, the classic build. Not a lot has changed. They added the new technical machine from the Paldean Fate set and the board that allows you to have one additional retreat. Interesting. Okay, some more Donphan Mill. I'm going to get calling it Donphan. I don't even know what it's called. Great Tusk, yeah, Great Tusk, I think that's the name, right? Great Tusk Mill deck, we're gonna be seeing it, it's gonna be coming live. So not only do we have Snorlax Control, or Snorlax Block, whatever you want to call it, we're also gonna have an aggressive Mill deck. So the format is shaping up to be kind of interesting, and I wonder what's gonna be seeing a lot of play at, of course, EUIC. So this is a remix of the 2 prize Roaring Moon, the 1 prize Roaring Moon, and the one that shuts down abilities. Flutter Mane, as mentioned, let's say you open up a game and the opponent starts with Squawkabilly, you can actually get that Flutter Mane in the active position and then shut down that ability so they can brick. So there's a lot of things that Flutter Mane can do, and it's an ancient Pokemon helping out with the damage boost of that 1 prize Roaring Moon. A future box. We haven't seen anything like it. The 1 prize Miraidon can set up your future Pokemon. The Iron Crown EX allows you to slap more damage with your future Pokemon. There's a whole lot of stuff in here. There's also that Ace Spec machine that allows you to accelerate an energy from the deck for every one. Is it the deck or the discard pile? Need to recheck that. For every one of your future Pokemon, so you can set it. This is like future box. This is interesting. And with Darkrai VSTAR being able to get back that Ace Spec card, you can do it twice. So setting up all these different attackers is going to be ridiculous. Darkrai VSTAR might see a lot of play after all, because it actually flopped a little bit when it's released. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, Darkrai VSTAR being played in the Roaring Moon deck here to get back some sort of cards. Okay. Now we see the other Ace Spec card here with the energy here, allowing you to, of course, get it onto something like the Blastoise EX. You can fetch it with, how do we fetch it? Well, yeah, with this new supporter putting it on top of the deck, so that could be pretty interesting. Blastoise can slap 280. Yeah, it's probably going to be a roguish archetype, but there's a lot of things to think about, for sure. I'm seeing a lot of Great Tusk Mill decks. That seems to be doing well. We also see, of course, a lot of... Oh, this is a lot of Chien-Pao with either with or without Iron Hands. Definitely lots of Zard going around. So we have a little bit of an understanding of how the format is shaping up to be. There was this top 8 Hisuian Zoroark list. Hisuian Zoroark also benefiting from the fact that you can slap 50 additional damage with that Ace Spec card. Lugia here with 100 additional HP and Cheer and Scare looping. Sounds pretty nasty, I know. And you can reaccelerate those energies when need be. Roaring Moon, this seems to be something I would be playing here with a lot of E-switches and, of course, Prime Catcher Cologne plays. That's what I love. This is probably one of the lists I'll be trying as well, on top of the one we've already seen. Goodra here, 100 additional HP and not being able to get Frenzied Gouging, as well as Star Requiem. This is the resurgence of Goodra, maybe. We also see a wacky Tyranitar EX list incorporating that double rainbow energy. Oh dang, things are heating up here, and the Japanese tournament results, so I'm glad to see all these crazy lists coming out of the woodwork. I'm getting a little bit of an understanding that most of the decks out there, these are like wacky decks, you don't want to pay attention too much here, but yeah, 1 prize, actually Roaring Moon, actually any ancient, the ancient decks have the upper hand over the future decks. yeah, we also see this Metang being able to power up Dialga VSTAR. Is it the time that Dialga VSTAR gets back into the format? Who knows? It's easier to set up than Magnezone, that is for sure. Gholdengo also seems to be popping up here and there. Chien-Pao. Sometimes a little bit of Lugia. You see this Rogue Raging Bolt EX deck popping up as well. But for the rotation going, this is gonna be one of the chillest, if I'm being honest, rotations we've had in a long time, just because like Battle VIP Pass was gone, but as mentioned, everyone is playing the Buddy Puffins instead, so nobody gives a damn, to be honest. So the format is shaping up to be like Charizard is good, Chien-Pao is good, Roaring Moon is good, and yeah, Lugia seems to be having a little bit of resurgence, Arceus decks as well. So as mentioned here, Regieleki VMAX, and they're playing the Master Ball. Also, the cool thing is that Regieleki VMAX can now use the attack from the Lightning Wall because of the Relicanth. Relicanth, such a great card as a basic Pokemon to search out one prize. Yeah, Ancient decks also coming out of the woodworks with 4 Salas and the 4 other Ancient supporter. So I'm very, very excited to be playing this new meta for sure. It has been some control-y shenanigans going with Eparcha. I don't even know what this is. EX as well, and this actually is not playing Crushing Hammers. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, the format. How do you guys like the rotation? Will you guys be glad? We're of course getting some millish archetypes as well, so you have to be careful, but it seems to be that a lot of decks are still viable for play. So if you enjoyed the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, subscribe for more content. Definitely check out my sponsors, PokemonStore.com, the best place for TCG Live code cards. You can use that coupon code ZapDosTCG for 5% off. There is Dragon Shield to get 5% off using the coupon ZapDos5, or clicking the link down below for sleeves, binders, deck boxes, and you're definitely going to be stocking up to protect your beautiful cards. EuroPlaymat.com to create your own custom playmat. You can get 10% off by clicking that link down below. We're 2024, new playmat, new year. That's the thing I always say. And then last but not least is CARDMARKET.com for European players to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapDosTCG. So yeah, I'm very excited to test out all of these new decks, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more Pokemon TCG action. Peace.